Throughout my teens and 20s, I think I could count on my hand how many part-time jobs I ever had. If I could go back in time, I definitely would have always have maintained a part-time job. I know that at the time I thought that today's video is going to be advice I'd give my 18-year-old self. Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobras nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalist videos. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Woo! Number 1, always have a part-time job. Throughout my teens and 20s, I think I could count on my hand how many part-time jobs I ever had. And if I could go back in time, I definitely would have always have maintained a part-time job. I know that at the time I thought that it's just small money at a part-time job. It doesn't make too much of a difference whether I have or don't have one. I was always lucky that my parents always took care of me and never let me feel a lack of want. So I never felt the need to have a part-time job. But if I could do it again, I would tell my younger self that although it may seem like little small money here and there, a little bit of small money often over a long period of time does actually add up. And I could have taken that money, and even if it was small, I could have put it towards my saving or put it towards my TFSA, or even just buying a small amount of stocks and getting used to the habit of investing. I think that I would be in a much better place financially in my 30s. And a part-time job didn't have to be that taxing. I think it would have also taught me more responsibility, better time management. I think I definitely would have appreciated the value of a dollar more. I wouldn't have been so quick to buy some of the garbage that I bought in the past if I had worked for it harder instead of just spending any money that came my way. I would have thought long and hard if I had to work, if I had to grind hours for it. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button for more content on minimalism and finance. Hit the like button, it helps out the algorithm. Check out my Instagram for more Mignon Cobra goodness. Number 2, get a better hobby than shopping. I think the title says it alone. I think my shopping addiction was probably one of the worser habits that I had in my teens and 20s. I became a minimalist in my mid-20s, but if I could tell my 18-year-old self, I would have told her to invest her time into a more worthwhile hobby. I would have encouraged myself to pick up that camera and start filming my YouTube videos. When YouTube first came out and I really wanted to do it, I should have just gone for it. I should have just taken the plunge, and that would have been a much more productive hobby than going to the mall and buying who knows what. Invest, save. I would have told my younger self, I would have recommended her the finance books that really changed my life. I would have recommended her Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. What was the other one? Dumb Millionaires by Derek Foster. I would have recommended those books at a much younger age, and I feel like at that time it would have been a lot more helpful because I feel like it would have gotten me right onto the right track from an earlier age. I really do wish that I had learned these life-changing principles from a younger age. There wasn't anybody who taught me these things. I did unfortunately have to learn it by myself. As much as I love my parents, it's really not their fault. They didn't know any better. But if I could go back and do it, I would recommend my 18-year-old self to pick these things up, because the beauty about investing is that when you're young, when you start, time is on your side. Investments can grow more healthily and less of a rush. As you become older and you start investing, you no longer have that component of time. It's a little bit unfortunate that I did start in my 20s and not in my teens. Alright, number 4, stop dating around or thinking a man will complete you. I think maybe I got this idea from social media or even just regular traditional media showing that a woman rides off happily ever after into the sunset with a man. So I guess I grew up with that idea instilled in me, thinking that once I found the one, or even having the idea that there was the one, that my life was be complete. Did waste a lot of time on my dating life, which I think was not how I should have spent my 20s in all honesty. I think I should have spent it more on investing in myself and growing myself and cultivating myself. I guess in some ways I thought that a man would complete me and that it was a man's responsibility to take care of me. But now that I'm older, I don't think that's the case. I think that if I'm secure with who I am, I feel much more whole and complete, and it is a blessing to have a partner and a companion who you understand and get along with and support each other. But I no longer have this idea that my life is incomplete without a man. It isn't anybody else's responsibility but my own to take care of myself and let myself feel complete. Number 5, no. Buying that won't make you happy. I think part of my shopping addiction was having this idea that I thought that once I bought this or I bought that, or that like next shiny item, I was finally going to feel happy and complete. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Having learned that lesson at a much younger age would have been much more beneficial. But maybe it's just growing pains. Maybe that's just something that you don't learn till you're older. It's just part of wisdom, realizing that material possessions aren't going to make you any happier, that you can only be happy once you decide to be happy, that happiness is actually a mindset. It isn't tied to your material possessions. You aren't your material possessions. But that is some solid advice I would like to have been able to tell my 18-year-old self. I think I would have saved myself a lot of grief and a lot of wasted money if I knew that. I would have invested in more fulfilling things. I think I would have picked better volunteer jobs, or I think I would have appreciated my friends a bit better. I don't know. I think I just would have had a healthier life. I wouldn't have placed as much importance on material things as I did if I had known that they were actually not the things that were going to make me happy. It was actually my family and friends and fulfilling work that was going to make me happy. Number 6, your body has always been beautiful. I definitely struggled with body image and my self-worth being tied to my physique for a really long time. I used to get bullied for my physique when I was in elementary school, and it continued into the middle of high school. I'm sad to say it actually changed only after I lost the weight. I stopped getting bullied for my physique. I think it had maybe something to do with me being Latina, so I was a lot curvier than my white peers. But it took a lot of self-love to be able to come to a place where I really do love my body for what it is, and I no longer compare it to others or let the opinions of others dictate my self-worth or drive me to such extreme dieting measures. That is something that I no longer do and is in the past. So if I could go back in time and I would tell my 18-year-old self, although I don't think I would have listened because it was painful getting bullied back then. But I would have told my 18-year-old self that actually my body was beautiful just the way it was, and I didn't have to listen to others' judgment. Others' judgment of my body was a reflection of them and had nothing to do with me. I was a very healthy and happy individual. I ate 3 meals a day, and I worked out, and I played, and I didn't have a toxic relationship with food. I ate when I was hungry, and I stopped when I was full, and my body had a natural set point of 125 pounds. And it wasn't until I started hardcore dieting that it all got messed up, and I lost the ability to be able to stop when I ate, and I would always constantly ignore my hunger cues to the point of losing my period. So if I could go back in time, I would tell my 18-year-old self that your body is beautiful. You don't need to diet. You are beautiful just the way you are. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of my patrons. Let's cue the Patreon list. This video is sponsored by my fellow patron. If you want to make any small donation to my channel, check it out in the link below at Mignon Cobra. This wouldn't have been possible without you. So those are the 6 pieces of advice that I would give my 18-year-old self. And I hope that this can help out any other 18-year-old. I know that my audience is quite young, so if this can help out any of you guys, my job here is done. So thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!